Hey world, this is Dave again and welcome to the Zero to Dev channel. So I just wanted to release this video to basically explain a little bit about what the channel is going to be about, what my plans are for content, and a little bit about who I am so that we have an idea of what's really going on over here. So really what the channel is all about is essentially it's a channel based on what you've seen a lot of people make videos of, people who haven't been developers before, who are switching and who've gotten into that field. The one thing I have noticed, though, is that many of those people, I'm sure not all of them, but many of them are releasing videos after the fact. They're talking about this now that they've had some time to work as a professional developer, and I thought it'd be interesting to chronicle things from the perspective of someone who's actually just getting into it. So that way you folks can see, and can maybe get a better understanding of what the process is for somebody. Not just the victory dance at the end with the motivation that you can do it too, but maybe some videos, talking about what the hardships are, what the victories are, what I'm going through. Maybe will be similar things you're going through. Some of the insecurities. I plan on talking about a lot of it and sharing what my experiences are and maybe ranting a bit. It just depends. And basically just going through that as it's happening, and hopefully we can see a day where I do get into this professionally, and from there just continue to grow the channel. I mean, my goal is to do this long term, to release a lot of content, and as I get better and learn more, to release more educational content. I do hope this channel ends up becoming a good educational resource, as much as one word's blog chronicling my journey. In terms of who I am, I'm Dave, as I mentioned. I'm a former skilled tradesman, and why I'm getting into web development, it's simply something that I've always wanted to do my whole life, actually. I actually started trying to learn HTML when I was a teenager. Been trying to learn programming, etc. on and off my whole life, but certain circumstances have come up where I was never able to pursue it completely. It could be all kinds of reasons, personal or involving the world, and now with things the way they are, I've actually have a chance to finally do it and just go out and go for it. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm not rich or well off. I'm honestly going through a lot of the same struggles maybe many of you are going through right now. And hopefully that put into the content can help motivate you also, if you're going through something difficult, to keep pursuing this, if it's something that you want to do with your life. So as I've mentioned, basically my plans are to chronicle my journey, talk about what I'm going through, but also to teach things as I'm going through and learning them. One of the things I've learned, and it's actually pretty well known, is that one of the best ways to learn is to teach. And one thing I am good at and have done for many, many years through my past work has been to teach myself and to teach others, to take a concept and really understand it inside and out, and then know how to break it down and communicate it to others so that they can understand it. That's definitely something I am good at. And once again, with the disclaimer that I am not a professional developer, but I am someone who does know how to take in content, how to learn it, and how to teach it to people. I will be planning on releasing tutorials, explaining basic things at first, obviously, but as I grow and get a better understanding of what's going on, I'll be releasing more and more complex content covering larger and larger topics. And that really is another goal for the channel, is to essentially branch off into also becoming very heavily focused on the education. Not just the education, but also the state of mind. There is a lot of things that go on when you're teaching yourself. You have to have a lot of discipline. You have to have a lot of organization. Those are the main things, I think, especially when you're starting out, because it is very easy to get demotivated. It's very easy to feel defeated. And I'm hoping that with this channel, I can maybe also clarify that. So not just coding tutorials, but also some state of mind tutorials, talking about what I'm doing personally, because learning in general is a very personal thing. And as we've learned over the years, many people learn many different ways, and I'm just hoping that what I do and what I use to teach myself can help people who maybe have been going through difficulties through using other channels or classes or whatever means of educating yourself there are that you haven't had as much luck with. So in terms of my study schedule, really what I'm trying to do is, it's going to be a pretty normal schedule. I just want to go through that. Once again, I'm using Free Code Camp. That's just what I've decided to use. It's just what I'm comfortable with. I mean, realistically, once you gain the foundational knowledge, you you kind of just build up from there. It doesn't, especially as long as you know the content is solid, which I know Free Code Camp is, then it's really just about going through the motions and learning it. And that's actually one of the self-teaching things that I will talk about in the future, is how to not inundate yourself and get overwhelmed with just trying to start, what resources to trust, what to pick for what reason, etc. It all really boils down to, learning about what you got to learn, and then basically going out there and just getting reviews of how good the information is, etc., etc. So I'll be covering things like that. But more or less, my study schedule, I'll consider it pretty normal. It's just going to be a few hours a day, more or less. Obviously, for more difficult concepts, I have had to go all day and immerse myself into things. But thanks to my family, who is also taking some steps in my life there. My previous career as a tradesman, I was actually very busy the vast majority of the day, and I've been convinced by my family now that I have the time to also practice some self-care, so I'll be taking time throughout the days to not just learn, but also be doing other things in life that interest me so that I can get a bit more balance in my life. And what I'm hoping with that isn't necessarily to have people think that I'm lazy or anything. It's really to say that you don't have to necessarily spend a ton of time. I've seen a lot of videos with professional developers saying a lot of the same thing, that you need to have balance. You need to be able to know when to pull out of that state of mind and when to get in it. And I'm hoping that this can show that you don't have to necessarily be some kid who's 14 years old in his house all day learning this stuff to get into the field. Obviously, the more time you can spend learning, the better. But there's also times when it's not as beneficial to you. There are also times when it can not just lead to burnout, but it really leads to a very hard time retaining a lot of the stuff you've learned. And I've been there. I've had to learn entire new skill sets before, and that has been my experience in the past. The more you burn yourself out on something, the harder it is to even make progress to begin with, and then you're basically just taking one step forward, one step back, so you're essentially going nowhere. And that's what I'm trying to avoid with my study schedule and how I'm going to be approaching my progress on this channel. So more or less, that's it. That's really what I was trying to do, is just explain that process, what I'm planning to do. And once again, if this is something you're interested in too, or if you're someone in a similar situation, then I highly recommend that you like, subscribe, and spread the word. And hopefully I'll see you folks out there. Have a nice day.